DJ PK, we're joined now by the head coach of the Colorado Buffalo men's basketball team, Tad Boyle. He had a lot of NBA guys on his team, and one of them now plays for the Utah Jazz, thanks to the 10th pick in the draft. Coach, good morning.
Hey, good to be with you guys. Good to be with you.
Were you surprised when Cody went to the Jazz, or I assume you get phone calls on all your guys, so maybe you have a pretty good idea what's about to happen?
Not really. Last night's draft, was a little unpredictable, and so I had a feeling he would go top 10, and of course he went 10th to the Jazz. So it was interesting. I think all throughout all the picks, all 30 picks, there were some surprises, and but I was not surprised he went to the Jazz. I've obviously talked, and our staff has talked to their organization about Cody. We've talked about all our guys, and these NBA teams do a lot of due diligence, so they got a good one.
What are the Jazz getting then, Coach?
Well, they're getting a great athlete that is got unbelievable upside. I mean, to me, Cody, I said this during the season, I'll say it now, like he's as close to a can't-miss prospect as you're going to get because, he comes from a great family. Off the floor, there are no issues. He's really serious about becoming a great pro. And guys, he's only 19 years old. His upside and his future is to me, it's unquestionable because he's got a great work ethic. He loves the game. He's coachable. There's no negatives other than the fact that he's young, and physically, there's going to be some adjustment to the NBA game from the college game, just like the adjustment from the high school game to the college game. But Cody's a smart player and he'll adjust.
We have a Colorado fan who's also living here in Utah listening to us saying that he's a Buffs fan, and there some fans here are worried about his scoring and why didn't he have a bigger role, why isn't he more dominant, and this Buffs fan says, well, he had NBA players, he had seniors and Lampkin in the pecking order, he missed some games, he accepted his role, was in the background more than people expected, but he's crazy talented, a great pick with incredible upside. My guess is you're going to second most of that. And can you talk a little bit about how many shots he got and how many shots he took and why and how the team was built and how that might have shaped what we saw versus what you know what he can do?
I think that that fan is spot on. I mean, Cody came into a team that had 4 seniors and 2 juniors that were established players, but he came in and he fit in as a teammate seamlessly. Because, again, the kind of a person he is, the kind of family he came from, he's a team-oriented guy. He's not a selfish player. He's not all about himself. He's gonna do whatever he's asked to do in terms of his role. The second thing is he did have a very difficult and challenging year due to some minor injuries, nothing major, but he went in for a dunk against Pepperdine and took a hard fall and had a small hairline fracture in his wrist, so he was out for 4 or 5 games there. And then he got elbowed in the eye in practice, had to be fitted for a mask. I think he missed the Utah game, if I remember right.
Yeah, he did.
And then came back and then twisted his ankle against Arizona State and missed 4 or 5 games there. So he missed 14 games, and again, not because he's not durable. It just was one of those freak injuries that caused him to kind of start and stop. And for a freshman to miss that many games and to miss that many practices is really a big thing. So the fact that Cody had the year he had, given those injuries and given the team he came into, to me speaks volumes to again the kind of player he is and the player he's going to be, because when he got in a rhythm, when he got in a flow, he was a major part of our team.
I think in order to achieve whatever level of talent you have, and some would be a superstar and a good role player, whatever it might be, bench player, you have to really embrace the grind. And, Coach, what I mean by the grind is not just getting shots up in the gym. It is in the weight room. It is the dieting. It is the film work. And you know that well, much better than I would. But it's all that stuff. And how would you answer his desire and willingness and love to embrace what I call the grind?
he does so impeccably. I mean, he cares about the game. He's very conscientious. I mentioned before he's coachable, so he's going to do whatever's asked of him to do. But Cody's got a sense about him. He's got a feel for the game that you can't coach, that you can't teach, and that's the one thing we look for. When we recruit players, and we saw it from Cody the first time. We saw him and talked to him about the game. Is he's got a great feel, and he does embrace hard work. Our strength coach, he's one of the reasons he came to Colorado is our strength coach does a great job for our guys. And again, he was only on campus for 7 or 8 months, so we didn't get a lot of time with him in there. But the time that he spent, he's a hard worker. And again, he's just going to get better and better and better. I think the big thing for Jazz fans is you just have to understand he is 19. There's going to be an adjustment period, but when he figures it out, which he will do, you got a great player, not a good player.
Everybody does a lot of homework on the person because you're trying to figure out, the work ethic and the maturity level. We've heard how mature he is. I think you got some sense of that just in the 8-minute press conference he did after he got drafted. And we know his brother's in the league, but I'm sure you got to know the family through the recruiting process. Can you just tell us a little bit more about that and what he's got and why he's got it and getting a sense of that when you got to know his family?
Great family. Mom and dad have a military background, so obviously the service means a lot to them. They're hardworking people. Obviously, his brother Jalen is somebody Cody's always looked up to his whole life, and I'm not sure Cody would be where he is today without Jalen, because he's kind of set the tone for him, and he's really when you look at where Cody can be 3 or 4 years from now, just look at Jalen Williams with the Oklahoma City Thunder, because there's your stock, right? There's your blueprint, and Cody listens to Jalen. He follows him. They help each other out, and again, when Cody starts to get physically mature and go from that young man to man, he'll be knocking heads with Jalen, I'm sure, nightly when they play. But that's the stock is there, and the family dynamic is something that is that we look at in recruiting, and it's his parents have done a great job raising those two boys and his older sister as well.
This might be more of a college recruiting question, Coach, but you knew as you were recruiting him that there was probably a good chance he would be one and done, and yet you still have to take the best players, and he obviously was one that you wanted and probably everybody wanted. But as a coach running a program, what are the challenges of recruiting players that going into it is a good chance that they are one and done?
Well, it was my first time experiencing it, guys. We've never had a one and done guy at Colorado. When I got the job, we had Alec Burks, who spent some time, and in fact was drafted by the Jazz as well. Turned into a great pro. We had Alec for 2 years, even though I coached him for 1, but he was in college for 2. So I've never had a one and done. Our staff hadn't. To me, we just take the approach that you want to try to get better every single day, and that's the one thing we tried to stress with Cody is let's not worry about all the outside noise. He did a great job of kind of staying focused throughout the year and not listening to mock drafts and what's going to be happening 3 or 4 months down the road. It's get better today. Get up and get better today, whether that's getting to the gym, whether that's getting your weight workout in, whether that's making sure you're eating 8,000 calories that day, whatever the case may be. Get better every day, and Cody's really embraced that, and I think he will continue to do so.
How did he improve the most as a player? Where did you see progress?
Well, I think just his comfort level and the speed of the game. You go from high school basketball or AAU basketball to Pac-12 level or major college basketball. The speed of the game picks up. The strength. I think the biggest adjustment that Cody made was the handling the physicality of the game, because again, he was, 170, 175 pounds, whatever, when he got here. I can't remember exactly but but he needed to get stronger. I think time will make him bigger as he matures physically. But handling the physicality of the game is where he really made strides and adjustments, because his skill level is unquestioned. His athleticism, his length, his basketball IQ, all those things. And I think, he also became a better shooter throughout the year. And you look at his shooting numbers for a freshman, they're pretty, before he got injured, I think he was shooting 60% from the field. I mean, that's for a freshman in major college basketball. Right. That's huge. So, he's just going to get better and better and better, guys. That's all I can tell you. He's, as you see him in preseason games or summer league games versus games next February and March, you're going to see a different player.
Because he was the first one, and I thought he was, that you've had, and you've been at Colorado for a number of years as a one and done, he sort of had a little bit of a, you could say, a bullseye, and then he's coming in to a team that has veteran leadership with guys, at least two of them, probably going to play in the NBA. So it was a little bit of an unusual situation. You go to some of these programs, like Calipari in Kentucky and maybe down in Arizona, they're used to the one and dones, and those guys come in and they might have another one and done with them, but he didn't have that. So it was really an unusual situation in that program. And I'm wondering how he handled it in terms of not being able to fit in, but yet still be able to show the type of personality that he has. And that extends beyond the court.
Absolutely, guys. And again, I go back to the kind of person that he is and his makeup. It's not all about Cody. It's not all about just him. It's about fitting into the team. And I promise you, he'll do the same thing in Utah, and I'm not an expert on the Utah Jazz, but whatever that locker room is like, whatever their dynamics and leadership is like, Cody's going to fit into that. He's not going to be, hey, I need to get this many shots. I need, this many touches. He's going to play the game the right way. And when he came to Colorado, it was a challenge for him because he is this McDonald's All-American. He does have a target on his back. I think our players, Tristan Da Silva, KJ Simpson specifically, did a great job of mentoring Cody, talking to him, helping him out, and that was helpful to him. But he came in with the attitude of, I'm going to try to fit in and be the best teammate I can be, and he did that, and that's why we had the kind of year we had. I just wish he didn't have to deal with those injuries, and he could have got into a little bit more of a flow, because if that would have happened, there's no question we could have been, Sweet 16, Elite 8, and if things fall right, maybe a Final Four this year. But
right.
It didn't happen, but it wasn't because anybody's fault. It was just sometimes the injuries you can't control.
Certainly, Jazz fans want, good people, no problems with the law, but also good teammates, not selfish guys, and that's all good. But Danny Ainge has been a quote that's been attributed to him, and I may be messing it up. But the team's got a lot of house cats that need some alley cats. You're laughing, right? Because you need guys who have an edge. And there's a line that can't be crossed in the locker room and off the court, but nonetheless, the edge is good. Have you seen that fire from him at some point? Yeah,
between the lines for sure. When he sees a chance to get downhill and get to the rim, he's going hard, and he's going to try to dunk on you and anybody that comes in his way. And he's got the length and athleticism to do that. So, absolutely, he's got that in him. I think it'll be interesting again as he physically develops. I keep going back to that because of his build. When he physically develops, you're going to see a guy who really, really can attack the rim and can get downhill and make things happen and be one of those alley cats. And I think what Danny's talking about too is you need guys defensively that are willing to dig in, and that's the one thing about Cody I think that goes unnoticed a little bit to the normal fan is he is not only just a capable defender, he's a willing defender. And when you put those things together with a guy with his body type, he's a really good shot blocker. He's got great length. He can contest shots. He's going to be really good on the defensive end as well.
Jazz took Collier late, 29 out of SC. Do you have any scouting report on him?
Yeah, I saw Isaiah play in his high school days. So he's a heck of a talent, big, strong guard. Again, a guy that can get downhill. He was a problem in the Pac-12 in terms of putting pressure on your defense and foul pressure on you. He's got a different set of things he's got to improve on, I think, as he becomes a pro. His jump shot probably is the number one thing. But outside of that, he's a heck of a player, and he was a problem for us, I can tell you that.
Well, Coach, we appreciate a few minutes. Thanks for joining us. Congratulations on all your NBA draft picks. And, Buff fans just want you to double down. Just do it again, do it again. We'll see you come through town on Big 12 trips now. Thank you.
Yeah, that's right. Big 12. And I think the Jazz fans are going to love Cody and watching his development.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay, see you guys.
Tad Boyle, Colorado Buffaloes men's basketball coach, Cody Williams coach. Find the edge. Find the jersey.
I'm excited for
inner
this kid.
jersey.
I'm excited, man.
More than all the other draft picks we've seen the last 2 years, and whoever 32 is, who we don't know right now. Riding a little higher, just because you heard more about him early.
I'm excited about him right now. I mean, if he ends up contributing to the level of a Keontae George, I'll be even more excited. I'm just year one. Mm-hmm. That's probably a little bit too high of a bar. Thinking more of Taylor Hendricks, which would
okay, but I thought
be good enough for me.
I thought Taylor Hendricks' arc over the course of the year was fine for the first year.
Absolutely.
Obviously, a lot more has to be done. But I didn't see any red flags there. I thought the progress was pretty good. Now, go from there and step it up again.
Yeah.
So if Cody does that, then that's a win.
I think
I'm
it's
curious
going
about
to be.
one thing, and this will be for our 9 o'clock listeners. You were talking earlier that, the stuff you've been saying recently, well, you'd heard. Right? You didn't just divine it yourself. You had an idea. You talked to people, and somebody told you something. But had someone told you something when you mentioned it back in October or November, or was that just you reading stuff and maybe watching some early college basketball?
It was more the latter.
It was the latter.
High school from Phoenix to,
Yeah. And so then later on, you confirm that with somebody, hey, I'm not up in the night here, and it's going to be in the right ballpark.
Yeah, I didn't know what the Jazz season was going to be.
Nor did you know what the draft pick was going to be.
Right.
Yeah.
So, no, I remember literally you were sitting at the computer, and I told you to look it up.
I know. I remember.
Yeah.
So when you said that earlier, and I know you talk to people, you do a lot of stuff from the seat of your pants, but
that was high school, college stuff, what to anticipate. That was more of what to anticipate in college basketball.
All right, DJ and PK, we're all done. Jake and Ben are up with more on the draft next, and it continues at 2 o'clock. Scotty and Hansel update you on the Jazz pick at about, 2:05 or whatever it be when they make that pick. So stay with us all day right here on The Zone.